Hello everyone and welcome to SK Shadow. Welcome back to another episode of our F1 22 My Team career mode for the Monaco Grand Prix this time. So we can take our total sponsors up to 3. You see we've got quite a bit of a selection here that we can choose from. Obviously each one has different weekly incomes and different goal bonuses. So generally the ones with the better goal bonuses are going to have the slightly worse weekly incomes. But the one we decided to go for is PSD. So to do that we need to complete a race without cutting a single corner, and then that will get us our goal bonus there. Obviously we still get the weekly income anyway, so we get like 70k-ish of weekly income. So once we've put our sponsor onto our car, we skip forward. It looks like we've had a development come in as well, so that is going to help us. I think that was actually an aero development, which we should be able to see in a second. Yeah, there we go, a drag reduction. So I mean that's not actually going to help us that much in Monaco. It's more downforce that we need. But you see, weather-wise, it's going to be perfectly clear for both qualifying and the race, so we haven't got that to worry about. You see, we are sort of in the middle of the pack now. We haven't made huge strides. It looks like Alfa Romeo have made a massive upgrade package coming into Monaco, so maybe they should be in for some decent points. Still, obviously, Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes are miles away from us, so I doubt we're going to be fighting them, obviously. I mean, we didn't have any points last time out, so if we can try and get some points in Monaco, that would be nice. But we are into qualifying, and we load into the session, and we see that Sergio Perez is out of the session, as he has just planted it into this wall that we just come up to here. So we managed to avoid doing that, but you see we are losing traction everywhere. This is a track that I've never really been very good at. You'll notice that in most of the other F1 series I have done, I tend to skip it, even though it's normally a good race just to take engine components and stuff. But yeah, just overall I've never been really good at it. It was awful to drive on F1 2021. It's not so bad this time, but anyway, we crossed the line with a 1:13.5. We did have the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc behind us the entire time, so that certainly didn't help. And Jenson Button goes 5 tenths quicker than us, so we are definitely going to need to try and find some time, because we are the second to slowest of the people that actually managed to do runs. We had a little bit of underfloor damage as well for some reason, so we had to wait out that. So we go out for a second run in Q1, and we're almost a second up. So yeah, we definitely lost quite a bit of time on our first run. To be honest, most of it was just being pressured by that Ferrari the whole time. I was just trying to make sure he wasn't going to go for a massive dive bomb on us, because they do that in qualifying as well as the race. So that gave us a 1:12.5, but the AI, as always, do manage to make up quite a bit of time on the final lap. So we go out for a third run in Q1, and we cross the line with a 1:12.0, I think that was. Yeah, a 1:12.0. That puts us P8, so not too bad. Our teammate only managed a 1:13.1 in P17. As you can see in hindsight, we could have just not done that third run and would have stayed in. But like I say, you never know with the track evolution on this game. Our first run in Q2 was only a 1:12.4, so which puts us second to last. So we are going to have to try and go a little bit faster, but obviously because we did 3 runs in Q1, we don't actually have another set of soft tyres, not new soft tyres to use. So we go out on used ones, and you can see we're all over the place. We smack into the wall. That is going to be the end of our qualifying. We only managed a 1:12.4, which, to be honest, isn't too bad. That's still like half a tenth quicker than our teammate did in Q1, but that does mean we are down in P14. So yeah, it's going to be pretty difficult to try and work our way through the pack. I can't imagine anyone else is having grid penalties at this point. So we decide that, like I said earlier, this is the race we're just going to use to get a whole new engine, start from the very back, maybe try a hard to medium strategy, and see if we can somehow get us some points.
Road race, and in the true meaning of the word. That's how Mr. Monaco, the late great Graham Hill, once described this iconic event. The cars we drive have come a long way in the intervening half century, but we still race on those same public roads beside the Mediterranean. There is no victory more coveted than that of the Monaco Grand Prix. The prestigious Circuit de Monaco then is not all that dissimilar today to the layout that made its debut almost a century ago. It's 2 miles and 19 corners through the streets of Monte Carlo, and although the average lap speed of around 93 miles per hour is the lowest of the season, the tiny margins for error make it the natural habitat of the safety car. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who will start from P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Sainz, Bottas, Lando Norris, and Fernando Alonso. Magnussen, Russell, Ricciardo, and Esteban Ocon. Gasly, Vettel, Guan Yu Zhou, Paul, Mick Schumacher, Button, Sir Lewis Hamilton, and Yuki Tsunoda. Latifi, Perez, Albon, and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. And now it's time to head down to the track.
So we start completely last. Obviously the game seems to glitch there and says we're still starting in P14, but that is not true. We do decide to try the alternate strategy, hard to medium, maybe hope for a safety car a little bit later in the race. Probably not going to happen, but it would be nice. There we go, it does reset itself to say that we are now in last. We're the only ones on hards by the looks of it. But it is lights out and away we go. We actually get a pretty decent start on our hard tyres there. We're using all the overtake we can. Side by side with Lance Stroll there. And Albon just sends it into the back of Latifi. And Stroll gets collected in that as well. We have to cut the corner and we get a corner cutting warning. So we are not going to get our sponsor bonus that we literally only just put on our car. I think it's a bit unfair given we couldn't have gone forward because there were 2 cars in the way. But that gains us 2 positions straight away with Albon and Stroll DNFing themselves out of the race. Brings out a virtual safety car as well. I think in real life that would have been a full safety car, most definitely, because the amount of debris that would have been left on the track there would be crazy. But on the restart here, Latifi is going really, really slowly and we go for a massive dive bomb on him and we actually get the position. Turns out he's going really slowly because he has lost his front wing. As Tsunoda goes into the pit as well, as so does Verstappen. So crossing the line on our first lap, we have moved from 22nd all the way up to 17th. So gained quite a few positions there from the carnage that happened on the first lap. I will say I did forget to save the race replay for this one, so it's literally just going to be my view. And as you can probably expect by the length of the video, and it is Monaco, it's unfortunately not the most interesting one, to say the least. But especially with Hamilton and Perez ahead of us, that is going to be a problem because they are fast cars. So especially through the corners, and obviously on the straights, they're just going to be too fast for us. And as we all know, Monaco is hardly the track to be overtaking on. So we will try our hardest. Obviously, we are using quite a bit of ERS though. We are already down to just over 30%, so we are going to have to try and conserve some of that. But at the end of the day, we don't exactly have anyone pressuring us from behind. We've got Verstappen behind us, who is 11.5 seconds on softs, so maybe by the time we come into the pits, he'll be behind us. But bear in mind, he is going to have to pit again, because those softs are not going to last the next 30-odd laps. But like I say, we are catching the pack ahead when we go into the corners, because obviously this pack seems to be headed by quite a few slower cars. But on the straights, so we have a bit of a lock up there, but on the straights we're just getting left, because obviously we're running a very high downforce setup, as you would expect given it is Monaco. But it does mean that even with ERS, which we now basically have none of, 4% there, we're just not getting close enough. The only places you really can overtake are where I overtook Latifi. That's about it really. So if we're not close enough at that point, it's not going to happen. But moving on to lap 17 quite swiftly, not much happened for the majority of those laps, and the first guys come into the pits. It's going to be quite close on pit exit with Alonso, but it looks like we just about managed to get ahead of him there. So on to lap 18, we are into P12. I think our pit stop window is just over lap 20-ish, so 20, 24 maybe. So we're going to go a few more laps than these guys. But obviously at the end of this lap, I would expect the other guys ahead of us to go into the pit as well, as does Schumacher and Perez. So that'll gain us at least another couple of positions. We got Russell ahead of us. He's going to be... Oh, I thought he was going to be ahead of us, but once again, it's going to be tight on pit exit, but we do manage to get ahead of him. So we are now into P6. We've got Gasly in the AlphaTauri. He's running in P5 on hards. So I'm not sure if he's already pitted or he was already or he started on hards. I'm not sure, but he's a fair bit higher than his car, which suggests he should be able to get. You see on the mini-map, both Ferraris are leading. And it looks like an Alfa Romeo is actually in third place. So, like I said earlier, that Alfa Romeo with their performance spike, especially with the Mercedes and Red Bull starting from quite far back, seems like a pretty good race for them as we have a massive lock-up. But doesn't matter too much because we have decided that enough is enough. We're going too slow on these hards and we're going to come in for our mediums. We only get a good stop this time rather than a perfect one, so it is going to be a little bit slower than we'd like. 2.9 seconds it is as we pass the medical car and come out of the pits. Little bit of wheel spin there, almost going across the line. Gasly, who we mentioned earlier, was on hards, has gone in for mediums, and he is still ahead of us actually, so we are now into P18. Again, we've got no one pressuring us because Tsunoda is 43 seconds behind us. So I doubt he is going to be coming near us anytime soon. But yeah, it seems like our hard to medium strategy really hasn't worked very well because before everyone pitted, we were in P17, and now we're in P18. So, and we've got a Gasly in between us and Hamilton and Perez. So, and obviously Gasly's on medium, so he's going to be a little bit faster than the guys ahead probably. But we do manage to catch up quite well, and similar to our move on Latifi, we send it down the inside and we do actually manage to get a position. I'm not sure if we had any contact there. I didn't see any, but Gasly has gone into the pits again. So I'm assuming he must have got wing damage from that. I don't know how. But on to lap 29, we have regained our 17th place as there is a car going slowly. It looks like it's Ricciardo as there's a bit of a wing flying about as well, so someone must have hit him. But that is Ricciardo with a DNF. And now every time we see a a Mercedes-powered car DNFing, it always does worry me because obviously we've got that Mercedes power engine as well. As Schumacher dives into the pit, so he must have been the one with wing damage. So that moves us up into 15th now. But honestly, even if we did have a engine DNF at this point, it wouldn't matter that much. We're in 15th place with not many laps to go, as Schumacher actually manages to get an overtake done there. You don't see that very often, the AI making overtakes in Monaco, but he managed it, so he's moved himself up into 16th. Battling for the wooden spoon there. But yeah, we've got one lap to go. I can't imagine anything is going to change here. We're just going to coast to the end and finish in 15th place as we start our final lap going into the first corner. And we have a huge lock-up and only just avoid destroying our entire race and smacking ourselves into the wall. As we see Leclerc there, who has just won the race, so he's going quite slowly, squeezes us to the wall. Even though he had actually literally just finished the race, he did not need to do that. But there's a replay of our massive lockup. But it doesn't matter too much because we do manage to make it to the end. And yeah, like I say, that is P15. So another not great result. I don't think our teammate managed points either, but we do get driver of the day. So at least we can come home with that, I guess.
It's the one that everybody wants to win, and they've only gone and done it. What a fantastic result here at Monaco. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
I think a large part of the result comes down to temperament. They were able to keep their heads when everyone around them was losing theirs, and that's allowed them to get the best out of the car, to maximise the strategy, and to stay out of trouble.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today, and a stunning win for Ferrari.
So overall, Charles Leclerc finally stops his Monaco bad luck, I guess, by his Monaco curse by winning it in our season, and Carlos Sainz alongside, so Ferrari 1-2 in Monaco. And like I said, the Alfa Romeo of Valtteri Bottas bringing it home in third, so that is going to be a nice haul of points for the Alfa Romeo team. So we're going to have to watch out for them in case they start trying to battle us for P4 in the Constructors. Yeah, like I say, neither of us or Jenson Button got points this time round, so that is not going to help us. But what it does mean is Valtteri Bottas moves ahead of us in the driver standings as expected. But other than that, thank you very much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that fantastic action, and we will be back next time for the Baku Grand Prix.